Does the solution to the North West's housing crisis lie partly in the forgotten corners of our towns and cities? A fifth of all England's empty homes are here, all 40,000 of them, more than anywhere else in the country, more than Yorkshire and the North East combined. Buildings like this one. In 2013, the people who lived here moved out, and the vandals soon moved in. For 5 years, it's lay totally abandoned. Not only is this place a complete tip, it's incredibly dangerous. There is smashed glass everywhere. Now, this was once a women's refuge. The women and children of this place left their mark on this memory wall, and it's hoped by restoring this building, it will create a home for future generations of people living here in Salford.
It really has become a blight on the local area. People are concerned about the kids that have been trying to get in and the activities that they're doing in it, but at the same time they're worried about it's going to get set afire. So our intention is to use it to create 9 new 1 and 2 bed flats and actually really make it into something positive for the area.
Here in Salford, housing associations are knocking down old, dilapidated council estates like this one and building hundreds of brand new homes in their place. But in a city full of abandoned buildings and empty properties, some believe there is a quicker and cheaper alternative available. Take the Star Inn in Eccles. 2 years ago, last orders were called, but in a few weeks, the first tenants will be moving in.
So we're now walking into what was the bar area of the pub. And if you can imagine, the bar was one of those big traditional Victorian bars that came out here and went down the whole length of the building.
The pub has been transformed into 6 apartments, rented out at an affordable rate to people on Salford's social housing waiting list. Salix Living isn't the only one doing this. Last year, housing associations in the North West started transforming more than 7,500 empty properties. But the Mayor of Salford is more cautious about this solution. He says councils are limited in how much money they've got to spend on empty homes and warns against the idea it's a quick solution to the housing need.
The catalyst for a lot of that activity, though, historically, has been government grant, and unfortunately there isn't any available at the moment. But I do think, in terms of moving forward with the housing policy for Greater Manchester, but also in the city of Salford, we do need to try and bring more, empty properties back onto the market. Obviously, the difficulty in some of this is a lot of those empty properties are in private ownership. So it's about working with the landlords, the people who actually own the property, to, bring it back onto the market and trying to incentivise some of that.
The Mayor of Salford, Paul Dennett, said to us, great idea bringing empty homes back into use, but actually it costs loads of money. Is that true?
I don't deny that it costs a lot of money, but it needs to be seen in the context of the wider house building industry. It costs on average £100,000 to build one brand new 2-bedroom house. The average grant given to landlords to bring an empty home back into use under the Empty Homes Property Fund in Salford was around about £10,000. So you can see that for one brand new townhouse, a 2-bedroom townhouse, the equivalent in terms of grants, you could bring in an extra 10 new homes.
Homes like this one. It was a bakery. Now it's Richard Broadfield's house.
Yeah, me and my little boy now have lived there about a month.
Him and his son were on the housing waiting list. Now they're off it and living in a 2-bedroom apartment they can afford.
There's about 3 different schools around this area. They got the tram just up the road. There's a bus stop across the road for easy transport into town, so you don't have to drive. If you leave it as a slum, it's going to stay as a slum. If you do it up and put money into it, invest in it, it's going to look good. People are going to treat the area nicely.
The government plans to give councils powers to triple council tax rates on homes left empty for 10 years and quadruple it for those left empty for more than a decade. The Prime Minister has made it her personal mission to fix the housing crisis. Here, they hope that promise isn't an empty one.